We're back here on our program, and we are talking about healthy lifestyles as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Nygard International, focusing on health and fitness. Bianca?
Yes. You know, I've been battling with my own weight issues for a long time, and I go up and down, and I see that my discipline isn't that good. I'm growing my own garden. I try to only shop for healthy foods and have that available in my house only, because if I buy something on a sugary side, even as a treat for the children, I will go and get into it, you know. And
tastes so good.
yes, and then all these fast food restaurants around or something, so I know that I have to drink lots of water and pack a snack, and you know, so I try to stay on that focus. But how about in our schools and stuff here for the children? I see that the cafeterias are offering, I don't know if they offer a lot of healthy options for the children to eat, or in businesses that have cafeterias, if those are healthy options for everybody.
Well, in terms of the schools, one of the main thrusts for the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, and then as well as the Healthy Lifestyles team from the Cancer Society of the Bahamas, in looking to combat the rise in these chronic diseases, we see where on a sadder note that our kids are sort of leading the region in overweight and obesity. And so in terms of helping to reduce this number, we're looking at going into the schools and actually trying to decrease the amount of sugar-sweetened beverages that are sold to our kids in the schools and around the schools. And so we have met with Minister of Health, we've met with directors from the Ministry of Education to see how best we can go forward with this. We've come up with an initiative called Waterful Wednesdays, where on a Wednesday, all the schools will sell or promote would be water. So at least there's a chance to help to educate and empower our kids and our teenagers to make a healthier choice, so that they can take that from the school environment into the home, their everyday life, and of course encourage others in their families, in the neighborhoods, communities, to drink more water. So we want to start with that drive in terms of empowering our kids to make healthier choices.
I think that's a wonderful idea. And in fact, my father and his company, what he's done is he does not allow any sodas or any chips or anything in his facilities at all, not in his home or in any building that he has. And then he offers only healthy options. So you have that available to you, and if you choose to eat somewhere else, you leave to eat somewhere else, you know, but it's immediately surrounding you, that's what it is. So it would be very nice to know that at least the children could go to school and have that healthy option there instead of no other choice. And I think that a lot of times too, parents might say, give them a huge portion and then say you have to eat all your food. So you're almost like force feeding the children into this. So it is important for everybody to be educated on the portion side as well as what you're eating.
The Healthy Caribbean Coalition is a civil society alliance.
Yes, it is.
That's correct.
How long has it been established?
That's been around for
I would say around 5 to 7 years now.
Just under 10 years.
Professor Hassel is the one who
just
started that
years.
out of Cave Hill, Barbados. He used to be professor of internal medicine, Trevor Hassel. He actually came here to speak at one of our research days too, and full of wisdom. And you see he's acting it out now in practical ways. He's retired, and that doesn't stop him. He's now taken on the whole Caribbean, which is what retired people should do.
Yes.
And there it is. We are impressed to link up with him. And the Cancer Society, the Bahamas Cancer Society, developed this arm that actually won a grant from that coalition that we're using to be the monetary instant. You know, the good book says money answers all things.
Yes.
So it's answering this thing.
Okay.
And we are actually delighted that, you know, we're in partnership with them. The whole civil society thing is not something that is just on paper. We're bringing it in our little world alive.
So you are focusing on education
of the young people.
Of young people.
And their parents.
Yes.
And the guardians and the teachers, of course, will get the immediate ripple effect of that too. But they're right in there with us.
And
them.
the thrust is to reduce sugar.
And to
sugary
increase
drinks.
water drinking.
Right. And to increase water.
Yes.
Yes.
And the rationale behind that is very simple. Your body is 70% water. In the bones are 60% water, 65%. Your brain is about 70, 80% water. I mean, do we need any writing on this a wall to tell us that water is maybe where we first should get it right? Because sometimes we don't take in enough to keep us from being dehydrated. And we feel all these little aches and pains, headaches, and not concentrating and things like that. Sometimes we're hungry. We think we're hungry when actually what we are is we're thirsty. And all you do, I tell people, is if you're really not sure if you're hungry or you're thirsty, have a glass or two of water. If in a few minutes you're still feeling the pain, that was hunger. If it's not, it was just dehydrated or thirsty. And you save yourself some calories, because up to the last analysis we did, water was 0 calories. So there you have it. It's wonderful.
Can you drink too much water in a given day?
If you are pregnant, you sometimes have a hormone that is changing up things. A lot of things change in pregnancy. One of the hormones that works between your brain and your kidneys to open the doors for how much water gets into your urine and how much out is called antidiuretic hormone. And a pregnant lady, if she's encouraged to drink too much water, will actually get what we call water intoxication. But most of us are not pregnant.
And that rarely happens.
So we don't have that excuse to use.
Yes.
And you rarely can drink.
Yeah.
Usually your stomach has the capacity to stop you.
Yeah.
And you feel the discomfort, or you feel the, another glass, and you feel satiated, so you stop until you're thirsty again. But there are people who have turned anything into a religion and have gone fanatical with it. So for those people, I would say that's not where your religion should be. Balance your water drinking. A glass or two every 2 to 3 hours, that's about the rate at which you're losing it anyway. So you're in tune, you're working along with your body. Your body is losing it into skin. As I speak, it's coming out. You just have to hold a mirror in front of me and you'll know I was correct. You're losing it in your urine, you're using it in your stools, you know. The best stools are stools from people who have drunk water regularly. People who are too dehydrated and don't eat enough fiber foods, you see it in the texture of their stools. They start to look like little rabbit stools and things like that. Highly preventable. Just drink water regularly. Don't drink 10 one time. Drink a glass or two every 2 to 3 hours. In the end, it takes you to about, 8 or so glasses a day. And you feel like you actually were working with your body, were working with nature, and you feel so contented and well. Those people who have gone on improving their water intake will tell you that something different has happened. Their concentration is better, etc. And usually one of the things that it does is it takes up the space, so they're not eating as much as well. So that's one of the other reasons why they're feeling much better. And they will even start to tell you how the water has made them lose weight. It's actually the less food they're eating that is making them lose weight. But those are the miracles of water drinking.
Calories,
you know?
6 to 8 glasses a day.
You calculate out to about 6 to 8,
that much.
7 to 9 is even better. But going on a binge, that doesn't impress me.
Does it matter what kind of water you drink?
It must be clean.
I mean, what kind of bottled water?
It doesn't to me.
No, not really.
Water is just basically hydrogen and another hydrogen and oxygen. That's glad to hold on to those two atoms. And it's one of the most wonderful things in nature. And if you make sure that it is safe and clean, if you're drinking tap water and you check with the reports from your water commission as to whether this is drinkable, potable tap water, if it's drinkable, you might even drink it straight from the tap and save yourself some money otherwise. If you're not sure of the source, you either boil it for 10 minutes or more and then cool it off and keep it in storage properly, which is how I grew up back in the hills in Jamaica. And it tasted so good when that water was in that clay pitcher. I can still taste it now. And it was wonderful water, no diarrhea, no vomiting, because it was properly prepared by my mother. And of course, carrying a bottle with water around is the new handy way to get to water. We recommend, though, that you don't leave that water in the car all day for the sun to be beating down on the plastic and releasing some of the chemicals in the plastic, because water is also known as a universal solvent. It will slowly dissolve anything, some much slower and some very quickly. We don't know from research exactly what those dioxins and so might really do. We have ideas from some preliminary research. So I don't want to go off now and give you any claims that when you search literature, you'll find it was based on weak research. But who wants to know that chemicals from plastics are slowly leaching into your water? If you get plastic bottles of water, keep them in a nice, safe, cool place from the sun, decant them, and don't have them for a long, long time. Although I have to say that one of the beauties of water is you can store it for long as your bottle was clean. Because as long as it's not contaminated, it will stay and last you through the hurricane season, etc. But, you know, why make that bottle hang around when your body needs it? Empty it by drinking it on a systematic basis.
Yeah. You talk about clean water. There are some people who will tell you that they want flavored water, something in the water, lemon or something such.
And that's quite fine.
I wouldn't blame them, because life must be enjoyed. If that is what makes you happy, flavor your water. Put a little lime juice in it, etc. But don't flavor it with 620 teaspoons of sugar. And call that, you know, healthy. Switch from that to something that has just a little sugar, if possible, no sugar. And sugar is not bad, you know, let me get that straight out.
Sugar is not bad.
No,
it's not bad.
No.
Everything in moderation.
Your body, your brain only knows to function on sugar.
Yeah.
But it has to come in a slow stream, steady way. If it gets too much, it confuses the body. And if it gets too much, it becomes too high in the blood, raises, let me use a layman's word, it raises the thickness of the blood and starts to draw the water from out of your cells, which need the water to function, into the blood to dilute it. And now your cells are dry, and that's part of the problem with diabetes too. Diabetes is really a problem where the sugar that is in the blood needs to get where it needs to be in the cells, including the brain cells. And that's why we give insulin or one of these anti-diabetic medicines to open up those doors in the cells, to send the sugar out of the blood into the cells where they need it to be the engine. You know, can you imagine a power plant without any oil to run the power plant? Well, this is what our bodies run on. They need sugar, but they need the sugar going in and not in a rush into our bodies. It needs to come in really, really slowly.
I had spoken with a nutritionist the other day who said that sugar feeds cancer.
When you go with the binging and it surges, these surges, these wacky surges that the body doesn't know what to do, and so the cells make mistakes when they're dividing because you've confused the cells. And the cells go through cycles, and they need calmness when they're going through the cycles. They don't suddenly need a whole roadblock of sugar while they're trying to move through another stage of maturing. They need to be calm as they make the changes, the cell cycles. And whenever you keep doing that to the cells, a certain amount of them will start to crazily divide and when they get out of control, the body has things to nibble up most of them and get them out of the way. But once in a while, the body loses the battle and the cells set in now and start to grow, form their own government, and think that they run the show.
But there are people who suggest that that you should drink tea or coffee without sugar.
Those are fine. I am not a coffee drinker myself.
Yes.
You might look down on me. I'm from Jamaica and I don't drink coffee. I've never had it in my life. But
you never had Blue Mountain coffee?
None of those coffees. But I'm one of the few. And there are several of us like that. And I've never had alcohol in my life either, but don't hold it against me.
Okay.
But I have nothing to regret for it. However, people who do any of those things, I beg you, very moderately, Those things, you do them because they spark some flavor in your life. They give you a little more meaning for the day. It's a short-term
Give you
meaning.
a buzz.
A little buzz, you know, you feel like. But if you can do without it, please ask God to help you to do without it. Because the body has some basic rules. Don't make it too complicated. But at the same time, don't have a bland and uninteresting life. Live a flavored, nice life. Variety is the spice of life.
life.
Isn't that what we've heard of?
Yes.
I think I will second it again.
Yes.
Oh, this is very, very interesting.
Very interesting. We don't want to stop, but we do have to stop. We thank you both for being here today. We're going to continue our program. We have another segment as we continue this health series, and we are so delighted that we can talk about the Healthy Caribbean Coalition and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition. They go together, right?
Yes.
Well, not exactly.
No?
Because we have members from the Healthy Bahamas Coalition in our team,
Okay.
but the Healthy Caribbean Coalition and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition are not one and the same.
Oh, but aren't you working together?
We're working together
complement
each other.
and complement each other, but the two are not the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much. We take this break here on our program. We'll come back.